So Disney has had it stuck in its head the past few years that retelling their original classics as live-action films or giving origin stories to some of the characters, namely the villains, has been a good idea. But does the latest film Cruella fall victim to this lackluster retelling, or is it actually pretty good? Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, welcome to the Animated Apparel Company YouTube channel. I'm your resident superhero nerd. Wait a minute, this isn't a superhero movie. That's better, now we can get started. As I was saying, welcome to the Animated Apparel Company YouTube channel. I'm your resident Disney nerd, Aaron Waller, and today we're going to be talking about the latest villain origin story from Disney, Cruella. Just as a quick heads up, I want to let you know that there will be some spoilers towards the end of this video. We will let you know when these spoilers are happening in case you have not yet seen the movie or want to see the movie at some point, maybe once it comes off of Premiere Access or out of theaters, so you don't get spoiled at all. That will be notified ahead of time. This is the prequel of 101 Dalmatians that sees the not-so-humble beginnings of Cruella de Vil. Set in 1970s London, the film follows the career of then-known Estella as an orphan and small-time criminal working her way up as an aspiring fashion designer. Through various events, she becomes the notorious fashion icon Cruella de Vil. To be honest, I didn't really expect this movie to be very good. I was expecting something along the lines of Devil Wears Prada, which it kind of is, but also kind of isn't. But then again, I didn't really know what to expect going in. I was basing everything and preconceived notions on the 1956 animated 101 Dalmatians and the 1996 live-action version starring Glenn Close as Cruella. This origin movie, however, really surprised me. It gave that rags to riches sort of story that I expected to see going in, but also gave me a fun little heist story and a nice little twist that I was close to guessing, but not quite in the ballpark. Emma Stone does a fantastic job playing the title character. She's able to very much pull off the duality of Estella being a more sweet and charming, while also Cruella a more ruthless and cutthroat type of character, willing to crawl her way to the top by any means necessary. Emma Thompson, who is no stranger to Disney, plays Baroness von Hellman and is essentially the main villain and has quite a hand in turning Cruella into the character we all know her to be. She did very much give me Meryl Streep Devil Wears Prada vibes though, and being very bossy, straightforward, straight to the point, and speaking her mind even if it's not nice type of character. And the rest of the cast does a pretty good job too. Joel Fry and Paul Walter Hauser played Jasper and Horace, and I love these characters. They brought new light and depth to what I always thought were bumbling idiots. Jasper is more invested, and though it never fully expressed, seems to care deeply for Cruella. And Horace is still a large bumbling idiot, but he was a heck of a lot funnier. Mark Strong also has a small role as the Baroness's valet, and I love Mark Strong, but I wish he could have played a bit larger of a role, though his story is somewhat similar to that of Kingsman, and I don't know how far that could have gone. In terms of directing, this too was a lot better than I anticipated, though there were some shots that were a bit jarring and didn't fit with the rest of the film, but it was still a solid look and feel to the movie that I found myself immersed in pretty easily. The fashion shown was also pretty awesome, and that's coming from someone who would most likely say doesn't have a great sense of style. Now I want to talk some spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie, I recommend watching it first if you don't want to know any of these details, or you can just go ahead and skip to this time code right here and get my overall thoughts. Now the first thing I want to talk about is that it's revealed that Cruella is actually the Baroness's daughter. Now I was kind of on the right track with this, as based on some vibes that I got early on in the film that she actually might be her granddaughter rather than her daughter, just based on the relationship that Cruella already had a mother that we knew of. Now this is revealed that it's not actually her, that she was actually like a maid that was supposed to take her away and sort of steal her, not steal her, but sort of stash her away and let her grow up having a normal life away from the crazy Baroness. But I was pretty close. But what I didn't quite understand was how they made such a big deal about Cruella's hair. In the movie, especially when she's a child, they made a big deal about her hair being half white and half black. Everybody that saw her always referenced to look at it because it reminded them of something, but for some reason this never paid off. Even when Cruella was an adult and she still showed up with that hair, nobody said anything. So this was kind of a nonsensical reveal or plot point that never quite went anywhere. Although it was a good idea, nobody else in the movie had this half black, half white hair, so why they made such a big deal out of it, I don't know, especially since she was a baby when she was given up and probably didn't have that hairstyle. I don't know what they were thinking there. The next big thing that I want to talk about is that Cruella's mother, or at least her adopted mother that we find out later, is killed by Dalmatians, and Cruella does have quite a big back and forth with these three specific Dalmatians that the Baroness owns, which makes sense that this would come to some sort of fear that she would have towards Dalmatian, or at least some hatred towards the Dalmatians, which makes sense for her character in terms of like the animated and how we know her hating Dalmatians and wanting to have their fur and all this crazy stuff. But by the end of the movie, she's very much friends and the Dalmatians are obedient to her. So what sort of beef happens later that Cruella now has a problem with these Dalmatians, unless they're going to completely change the narrative of who Cruella is maybe in a future sequel? But I don't think that made any sense whatsoever. And speaking of Dalmatians, Roger and Anita, the main human characters from the original 101 Dalmatians, make appearances in varying capacities. And although they are connected to Cruella, they are for the most part have decent or at least civil relationships with her in their own ways. So again, how this makes sense or how this will connect to the potential of a live action 101 Dalmatians makes no sense whatsoever. And in addition to that, by the end, Cruella sends Dalmatian puppies to Roger and Anita, not just anyone's, she also names them Pongo and Perdita, the main parent dogs from 101 Dalmatians. So not only did Cruella name these dogs, which kind of feels wrong, if we do the math, they're also to some degree possibly siblings. Now that's a headcanon I don't want to think about. But the fact that Cruella is naming and giving out these puppies to owners that she will eventually not only hate the owners, not only hate these dogs, but also hate their puppies and want their fur to make a coat? I don't know what Disney was thinking. Like, yes, in theory, it's very nice and a nice way to wrap things up. But if we think about the context of how we know Cruella and what her intentions are with Dalmatians later, it's not a good look. So overall, I would probably have to say that I actually did enjoy Cruella, despite it having some problems and things that I just didn't quite understand. But I think that it was a little bit longer than it should have been in the overall runtime. There were some scenes that probably could have been cut, but it's still a pretty enjoyable movie. I would give it a solid 75 Dalmatians out of 101. I really got to rethink my rating system. But now I want to hear from you guys. Did you enjoy Cruella? What was your favorite moment? If you liked it or did not like it, let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section down below. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell notification so you don't miss out on any future content from me or the rest of the AAC team. And also be sure to check out animatedapparelcompany.com for all awesome nerdy merch from Marvel, DC, Star Wars, anime, gaming, and more. And also use the code Aaron20 to get 20% off your order and start saving today. Other than that, that's all I have for now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.